let's get on to this Q&A, my brother. I know time is not on your side. Here is a mic for you. Let's check if it's working. Is that one working?
I don't know. I'll carry both. We'll see.
All right, so you've got double ammunition. All right, so we've traveled the last 7 months to 13 townships. All right, so we've spoken to about over 1,000 entrepreneurs. And what we're finding out is that there are many entrepreneurs who need funding for their businesses. Finance is a big issue. I'm a young entrepreneur, I'm sitting here, I need funding. What advice would you give to me when approaching a potential funder? Okay. What are the things that I need to have in place in order to secure that funding?
Yeah, funders generally are not entrepreneurs. Funders are accountants, and they're more about the bottom line than they are about your lovely idea. They're not really into that. It's about rands and cents for them. So the one thing that will always speak, it certainly is not your smile. It is your bottom line. It is your books. So the ability for you to account for spend and to be able to project and to be able to say, here are the industry trends and here's what is being spent. So basically research on the industry that you're in and the ability to prove that you've been able to handle the 100 rand that you've had well and you've turned it into 200. So your track record in the way that you've handled money, however small, also plays a big role because they're investing in you really as the person. They're investing in your story. So once your books are right and once your track record shows that you can be good for that money, generally they would want to fund you.
All right, so it's an issue of making sure that your house is in order and you're looking after every cent.
Yeah, it's about funding is not about where you are at the time that you're asking for your funding. Funding is more about where you were yesterday. They want to see how you got to be where you are now. If you're parachuted to be where you are now, then they don't think that you'll be able to be good for the money that they give you. They're going to say to you, if we want us to give you 100,000 rand, what did you do with the 5,000 rand that you had before? So they just want to know that your books are in order and that your track record of money management is in order. Because they are accountants at the end of the day. It's about what's coming in and what's coming out, and you just need to show that.
Thank you. So we were having a conversation at the back, and every time I meet someone who's doing well in business, I'm not particularly concerned about how much money they make. I ask them questions such as habits, because I want to know what are the things that they do on a daily that make them become successful. And I'm having a conversation with THOKOZANI. He's like, there's just some days where he goes like 48 hours and he doesn't like sleep. Just like, how fit? Like, sleep-wise. So I want to find out, and you've worked with successful entrepreneurs in your media industry, there are common traits and common characteristics and common habits that you all have, that each entrepreneur can take today, implement, and they're bound to become successful.
Yeah.
What are those three that you can share with these entrepreneurs today so that when they leave here, they can implement them and look, it's going to happen. Not now maybe, but it shall happen.
Well, I call these things the 3 R's, right? The 3 R's being that the first R is relationships. Guys, every single business is built on relationships. Everything that you do is built on relationships. You have to have created relationships. Hardly do you ever find that things work with cold calling. They do work, but you have a better chance of it working with relationships. So the key in any business, before you do what you do, is how to relate to others. You just had before I came on here, you had a networking session with the guys and you got them to do something. And that's exactly where it starts. The people that we're working with right now, who are at the level that they're at and have enabled us to do what we do, are people that we were working with 20 years ago when they were starting out, whatever that it is that they're doing. And it's those long relationships that you've created that have come to fruition now. So relationships are very big. I'll make an example up at the channel. For you to start a channel like this, you need quite a lot of money. And the way that you were able to get over that hurdle was that back about in the 90s, there was a gentleman who was starting out as a production assistant at SABC when I was also volunteering there. That gentleman now is the head of media funding at IDC. And I was able to call him from the guy that I was the PA with back then to say, there's this opportunity, let's do it. Relationship. The other R is reputation. It's very, very key to build a reputation. You have to build a reputation. People will not part with either their money or their business or whatever to you if they don't know about you. Your reputation precedes you. That's why even when you're asking for a job, they want references, right? They want to know how have you been with people before. And it's very important to guard reputation because it takes years to build it, but 5 minutes to break it. So every single moment is a seed planted, and a fruit out of that seed will be born at some point in time. So everything you do, how you treat people that are below you, how you treat people that are on your level is important, because if the person that needs you today, you will need them tomorrow. So it is important for your reputation to always be intact. The last R is risk. We take risks. You see, you guys, I'm telling you about all the business ventures that have been successful. I'm not telling you about the 1,000 others that have been absolute failures, right? Because we've taken risks. What I'm sitting here on now are the ones where the risks paid off. But there are other ones where the risks didn't pay off, that were complete duds and that went down. The opportunity to get something up now is probably after 10 attempts of them saying no to you until you come back with one that they say yes to. So you need to be able to take risks and know that something can fail dismally, but failure is necessary for you to grow and develop yourself.
Power. So relationships, reputation, and risk. My last question is, it's around mentorship.
Yeah.
There are many entrepreneurs that see other successful entrepreneurs and they want them to become mentors. And someone's always asking, but I want to become your mentor. How do I become your mentor? You've got mentors. How did you get those people to become mentors? Is there some kind of framework that you use, that you've seen other people use? So someone says to me, yeah, but Thokozani, nami ngifuna ukungena ku TV, nami ngifuna ukuba ne-show yami, ngicela ungimentor.
Yeah.
How do you go about it? Getting mentorship and building that relationship.
The way that I did mentorship when I was growing is that I never went to ask for anything. I went to offer what I could give at that time. I went to say, I want to give value here. I don't want you to mentor me. I want to polish your shoes. I want to carry a bag. I want to wash your car. But while I do that, I'm listening to you having your meetings. I'm watching you operate. I'm seeing how you do things. By the time I created my first show, I knew how to do it because I'd watched others do it when I was carrying their bags for free. So I didn't ask for mentorship. I offered my hands, and the mentorship was a byproduct of that.
Sure. Lastly, because of time, you've gotten to a point where you wanted to give up.
Yeah.
Where you thought, why on earth am I doing this? What kept you going?
What kept me going is that I did not have an alternative. And what I did, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to get a monetary result out of it. What I do now, the fulfillment that comes out of it isn't money. The fulfillment that comes out of it is what it does for people. So what I always say is, if you are going to do something for income, you are probably going to give up. But if you're going to do something for outcome, you are not going to give up. Because whether you get income or not, that outcome will be there. So for me, it's always about the fulfillment of everything that I do is the impact that what I do has on people, and not whether it pays me or doesn't pay me. And generally the reasons why entrepreneurs want to give up on a business is when their expenses exceed their income and they say it's not working. But for me, for the very few years of my career, I never even had an income. I just had expenses, and I lived off the little piece jobs that I was doing, but I was offering a lot more than that. So for me, it boils down to why you are doing what you're doing and what outcome you want out of it. The income will come as a byproduct.
Fantastic. So, lastly, parting shots for the entrepreneurs, and also how do they get in touch with you? I mean, I know many of them here have a lot of questions, and if we had to open it up, we'd probably be here the whole afternoon, but we don't have that time. If you could maybe just leave your handles, you know, how people can connect, the best way to connect with you. Parting shots, the best way to connect with you.
Best way to connect with me is on social media. I'm THOKOZANI NKOSI, no underscore, no nothing. Just THOKOZANI NKOSI, at THOKOZANI NKOSI. On Facebook at THOKOZANI NKOSI, on Twitter at THOKOZANI NKOSI, on Instagram. I was one of the first few people to have these social media accounts, so I was able to get these names. That's why everyone after me has to have an underscore after it. So when it came out, I was the first one to jump onto them to get them. So, so that's why I'm able to have just my name on them. So you can just post me there, ask me questions. I always try to make sure that I respond to people that tweet me or that send me a post on there. But just a parting shot, guys, is to say, once again, the successes that I'm sharing with you today are just the shining light of what it is that I've been doing. But there's been a lot of groundwork in the beginning. Trees, when you see a 1 meter tree that has grown beyond ground, the roots of that tree run 3 meters. So by the time you see anything happen, there's been a lot of work happening underground. It takes 20 years to build an overnight success. It takes 20 years to build an overnight success. So what you see now is work that has taken a very long time. So if you are still under the ground and you are still building your roots and the tree has not shown yet, know that's exactly what you're doing. So by the time your tree shows, your roots are deep enough that whatever wind, whatever rain comes, it's not going to shake your tree. It's going to keep producing fruit regardless of the environment and the situation at the given time. I grew up in church, and I was always taught that do not build your house on sand. Build your house on solid foundation, solid ground. And a solid ground, like I said, is dependability, business ethics, everything that goes with good reputation. Make sure you are not an inkinga. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time for THOKOZANI NKOSI.